Hey, Waffle Crew, I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm Mark, and today we're diving into some more relationship stories. If you enjoy a good Reddit tale, consider giving a like, subscribing, and maybe ringing that notification bell. But let's jump into our first story, which comes from Clista de Lista, who shares about a court order, alt account, mobile. This is the first part of a decade-long saga that's now wrapping up in a satisfying way. Over 10 years ago, I returned home to discover my wife was moving me out. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but I was completely caught off guard. I was also handed a restraining order stating I couldn't return home without written permission. I had to coordinate with my wife to see our kids, and the order lasted 90 days. I was heartbroken. A family member connected me with a fierce lawyer. This attorney was sharp and straightforward. She filed a response to the restraining order but warned me that these cases take time, and we likely wouldn't see a judge before the 90 days expired. She stressed that I had to follow the court order precisely. Any slip-up could hurt my case if my now ex-wife renewed the order. Within a day, my ex needed me to watch the kids. I was staying at a friend's place, so I had nowhere to take them, and we agreed I'd watch them at home. I parked a few blocks away, waiting for an email granting permission. My ex called, and I reminded her of the order's terms. I wouldn't come until I had written approval. This happened twice more in the first week. I told her I wouldn't leave my temporary place, 20 minutes away, without that email. I sent her a text to remind her. The next day, she sent the email. We planned for me to pick up the kids for school since their school was close to my workplace. But without the written permission in time, I couldn't make the drive to get them and still get to work. She called, furious that I wasn't there. I reminded her about the permission requirement, and she ended up very late for work. She then offered to write a blanket permission for me to come and go, but my lawyer advised against it. Stick to the order. A few weeks later, she forgot to send permission again. Her boyfriend was staying over but didn't have his car. They both needed to get to work, and I learned he was her direct supervisor. My ex had to call a colleague to take the kids to school, and the colleague found out. Word spread at their workplace. Within a week, the boyfriend was fired over the relationship, and my ex was suspended. By then, I had my own place, so the kids stayed with me most days. I later discovered the restraining order was the boyfriend's idea. My ex was furious about it, as it became evidence that I wasn't a threat to her or the kids. The judge was stern with her during our settlement for support and parenting time, calling it deliberate and harmful parental alienation. A quick look at the update reveals more details about what led to this. So, let's move to the update to see what happened next. This is the second part, removed from Pro-Revenge. I might fix it there later. This is the latter half of a decade-long tale that's now resolving delightfully. 10 years ago, my then-wife, now ex-wife, started a relationship with a guy and kicked me out of our home. The boyfriend played a key role in blindsiding me and scheming to keep me from my kids. I've always resented him for it. I've remained civil because he became my kid's stepdad. But I vowed to seize any chance for payback. I expected something small, but he handed me the perfect opportunity, and I've been capitalizing on it for nearly 3 weeks. My kids are mostly grown, some in university, others in grades 11 to 12. The university kids live with me, while the high schoolers split time with their mom. I'm remarried now. My wife and I each have our own cars, but she owns and insures a minivan for family outings. The kids can use it too, as only one has their own car. We have one set of keys, so I attached an AirTag to track its location in case the keys were misplaced. About 3 weeks ago, one of my older kids took the van for the night but stayed at his mom's on the couch. The next morning, another kid asked to use it. I checked the AirTag and found the van hours away in an industrial area of another town. Concerned about why my kid would be there, I called him. He was at his mom's, as he said, and had no idea the van was gone. I contacted the police, giving them the van's location. Within 20 minutes, they stopped the van, and the driver claimed he had permission. It was my ex-wife's boyfriend. The police weren't keen on holding him, suggesting he drive the van back to our town for us to sort out. But it wasn't my van, and he wasn't insured to drive it. I requested it be impounded. In Canada, we can't press charges, but I insisted this was theft and wouldn't let it slide. Since he was out of town with no ride, the police detained him, likely for convenience. I got details for the impound yard. Since we had the next day off, my wife and I drove to the yard to retrieve the van. I checked for damage, as it sat low, no exterior issues. Inside, I found it packed with industrial fasteners and cables for seismic mitigation. The boyfriend had used my wife's van for work purposes. My wife marched to the office and I jogged to keep up. She asked who had access to the van. They confirmed only we did as they held the keys. I saw her plan. I instructed them that only we could access the van. I tipped them $35, and they promised no one else would get near it, moving it to a secure area. We left without the van. Before we got home, the boyfriend texted about retrieving the equipment. I explained we left the van due to costs, towing, impound fees, daily storage. I told him he'd need to pay before I picked it up. He was livid, vowing to make me pay. I refused. Within an hour, his boss called, desperate for the equipment for a time-sensitive job. I said it was impounded, and I couldn't get it until next week, with payment up front. The boss yelled, but I calmly said I didn't steal a vehicle to transport his goods. When he continued, I said I wouldn't tolerate the abuse, hung up, and blocked him and his company everywhere. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, I've made excuses whenever the boyfriend tries to arrange picking up the van, often citing the kid's needs. The boss has tried contacting me through other numbers and sent numerous emails, which I ignore. I did reply once, noting the 4-hour round trip and the need for prepaid costs. The fees have added up, $25 daily for secure storage, plus towing, impound, and fuel costs. The boyfriend and I agreed on 58 cents per kilometer for travel. The boss e-transferred nearly $600 for our driving costs. On Friday, my wife and I retrieved the van, prepaid and ready. I dropped off a dozen beers at the office as thanks and went to get the van. I wasn't transporting the boyfriend's work materials, so I arranged for them to stay at the yard under the same storage rate, unloaded them, and left before the weekend closure. The boyfriend called, asking when he could pick up the materials. I told him they were still at the impound, 2 hours away, and the office opens Monday at 9. Silence followed, so I hung up after 10 seconds. I've gotten vague updates from my ex, with whom I now have a decent relationship. She was furious with her boyfriend and made it clear that he deserved all consequences. He's kept his job but missed a pay raise and year-end bonus. She said they're too short-staffed to fire him, but he's in trouble at home and work. No word on criminal charges for the van theft, as that's up to the Crown, and I'm not pursuing civil action. When OP left the materials at the impound under the same charges, I didn't see that coming, honestly. What do you all think of this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move to another story. This one comes from Similar Light, who writes, "My husband begged to sleep with others. Now he's upset that I did. For over a year, my husband pleaded to open our marriage. I was clear I didn't want it, saying no repeatedly. I cried often after his requests. I told him it made me depressed, that I didn't understand why he wanted others. He said it wasn't about me. He just wanted to experience others, not because of my looks, but just to try something new. After relentless pressure, I gave in, saying I didn't want it, but he could go ahead since he wouldn't stop asking. He did some things with someone short of full sex. It's over now. He had said I could do the same, encouraging me to have fun or spend a night away. I wasn't keen, but I started chatting with someone, and things naturally progressed. I hadn't felt desired like this in ages. A week ago, he reiterated I could find someone, just let him know. So I told him I was talking to someone and later said I was going through with it. The next day, he said he was devastated, couldn't sleep, and feared I'd leave him. I told him I was angry because I felt that way for a year, and he ignored my pain to get what he wanted. Now he's getting what he asked for. He says he regrets it and feels guilty for hurting me. I told him it's unfair to change the rules now that it benefits me. I'm considering divorce if he tries to stop me after all he put me through. I don't want to be a single mom, but I'm furious. He got what he wanted after tormenting me, and now he's pulling this. He says he hasn't changed his mind, But if he does, I'm done. He didn't care how much it hurt me. OP's edit. I want to add context about being a single mom. I've been a stay-at-home mom for years with no family or support nearby. I'm isolated. It feels unfair that I'd struggle alone because of his choices. He'll be fine with his high income, but I'd be punished. I didn't ask for this. I wanted a family. I didn't finish school, so finding a good job will be tough. I don't know how I'd afford it, and it breaks my heart that I won't be there for my daughter as much if I go this route. I loved our life before this. Being a stay-at-home mom worked because he travels often for work, and we didn't juggle two schedules. I could focus on family. We've seen these stories on this channel before, and I don't get why people push when their partner clearly says no. Honestly, I can't see this relationship surviving. Restar comments. This is common. A guy loses attraction to his wife due to pregnancy, aging, or whatever, pushes for an open relationship, and she gives in to keep the marriage. He struggles to find anyone interested, while his wife, who he thought no one wanted, has plenty of options. Suddenly, he wants to close the relationship. Pathetic. Embarrassed Bit says, many married men overestimate their appeal. They don't realize that in an open relationship, their wife can easily find partners while they struggle. When they see their wife has options, they want to shut it down. Women have sex when they want. Men have it when they can. Your anger is valid. Good luck. Molotov adds, being a single mom seems tough, but imagine raising a kid with someone so selfish. He hurt you for his own needs and likely won't treat your kid better. He only cares about himself. Mission Practice shares. My husband did this recently, wanting an open marriage. I didn't want it, and it broke my heart. I got a date before he did, and he begged me not to go. We worked on things, but it's back to the same now. Do what makes you happy. They're often selfish and don't consider us. NYC says, your husband's foolish. I saw this with friends. The husband envied a single friend's hookups and wanted the same without divorcing his attractive wife. She initially refused, but eventually agreed. He arranged for her to sleep with a mutual friend she found attractive. It went from a one-time thing to regular meetups, while he got nowhere. When he asked to close the relationship, she served divorce papers and ended up with the friend. I'm shocked at how many open relationship stories are out there. OP updated their post. Things are in limbo. We've fought since my last post but talked a lot, clearing some things up. I've never seen my husband so sad. He cried, which I've only seen twice. We're not divorcing for now, and I'm losing interest in the other guy. We might close the relationship and try therapy or keep it open. I also think my husband's had a porn addiction this past year, choosing it over me. I called him out and he's stopped, admitting I was right. He feels bad and wants to try, claiming he didn't realize how much he hurt me. Besides this, he's a good husband and dad. I want to work through it. My ex was abusive, pinning me down if I was upset, controlling me. My current husband isn't like that, and things were good before this. So I want to try. I've been divorced before, with no kids from that marriage. If I'm single again, I'm staying that way. I'm torn about this ending. OP compares her husband to her abusive ex, saying he's not that bad, but that's a low bar. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. A huge thank you for engaging with today's stories. Your support means the world. See you in the next one. Take care and much love.